Welcome, my fellow Toastmasters. What is today? June
21,
21.
July 21.
Oh, July 20. July 21, 2026. We are ready for another Silicon Speech Toastmaster event with some friends online and some friends here in person. I know we have a thought of the day. James just volunteered. Do we have a joke master?
I don't know who wants the joke.
Hey, you were the time.
That was last time.
We'll have a joke at the end, maybe.
I can give it.
That's what we're afraid of.
Let me first invite our thought of the day, James.
Thank you, Karan. This is incredibly unplanned, so we'll go on the spot. Yeah, thanks for the help on the speech a couple weeks back. It went about as well as it could. It brought the roof off the place. It meant a lot to my friend that it meant the moment. So I was really happy about that. And it kind of reminded me of this clip. Before I go there, was it perfect? But absolutely not. I had a filler word in there. I got the tape afterwards, was able to confirm. Probably didn't have optimal hand gestures, probably didn't have optimal movement in some places, but it absolutely met the moment. So it got me thinking about, there's this YouTube clip where there's this role player for the Celtics named Brian Scalabrine, who's this incredibly unassuming looking basketball player. He's a redhead, he's a role player. So some guy at a gym challenges him to a game of recreational one-on-one basketball. And this guy's actually very confident at the beginning, and Brian Scalabrine absolutely demolishes the guy. He scores 20 points before the guy can get one. And his parting thoughts, it was, I'm much closer to LeBron than you are to me. And that kind of got me thinking. I know all of us at Toastmasters think about the road ahead and summiting the mountain of being a great public speaker, but anyone who's ever thought about inserting comedy or vocal variety or giving a speech without notes is much closer to Steve or Karan than they are to the novice just picking up a microphone for the first time. So I know all of us are about improvement here, but from time to time, it's good to just think about the path of the mountain and the steps you've already climbed and how well it just sets you up, not only for a professional setting, but in my case, to pay homage to one of the most important relationships in my life. Thank you.
Good.
You're next on,
I'm not sure I deserve that accolade whatsoever. I just heard this from Louis C.K.
Oh,
So Louis C.K.
good. There we go. We're off on the right foot.
This poor family get a newborn in this village, and they're extremely happy. And they are thinking that life is going to be beautiful here and after. And they go to the sage, the Buddhist in the town, and they tell them, oh my God, our life is going to be fantastic. And the Buddhist monk says, maybe. Then a few years later, the child grows up. He breaks a leg, damages it, so he can't really walk. They go to the Buddhist monk and they say, my God, life is going to be so difficult from here on for this child. And the Buddhist monk says, maybe. Later on, a war erupts. They come to town, they gather all the children, the young men, to go to war, but this kid, because he was injured, he couldn't go. So they go to the Buddhist monk and they say, oh my God, how lucky we were. And he says, maybe. Years later, the father gets drunk. He burns down the house. He kills the boy, throws him in the river. They go to the Buddhist monk, and the Buddhist monk says, oh my God, that's terrible. That's awful. Who would do something like this? And the moral of the story is Buddhism is limited. I don't know if I delivered that perfectly, but
What are we looking up the punchline?
No, I'm looking now for our functionaries. Oh, it's not my job. Oh, it is actually, because I'm the Toastmaster. Now I remember. Okay. Who's going to be the R counter today?
How do you do odd count if someone does timer? Maybe someone online.
Yeah, that'd be good for somebody online.
I could signal also.
I'm doing movement master.
Nina's movement. Allie, do you want to be a awk counter? Who's that?
I would
If-
say some.
A what counter?
Well, okay.
R counter. Counting filler words.
Okay, yeah, I can do that.
Can you share with our group what your responsibility is?
Oh, okay.
Time online.
All right. We'll find somebody on.
Ally?
Me,
Yeah, just share what you'll be doing. So
I'm the counter. I'm counting filler words.
And you get a report.
and you'll report to us at the end of the meeting.
Oh, okay, got it.
Thank you.
Uh-huh.
Next, we're going to have our grammarian and word of the day. Who is that?
Needed to be filled.
Any volunteers? Anybody has a nice word top of their mind?
John is looking. I think.
But while we're looking, we're gonna go to our movement master, which is Nina. Nina, can you share with us what your
Yes,
responsibilities are?
I will be movement master. I will be keeping account of hand movements as well as footwork as you engage in your speech, and hopefully don't stand in one idle position.
All right. Do we have a grammarian word of the day, or are we going to skip that for today?
Well, let's think.
John's fine.
I got one. Might be an easy one, but I think everyone should try to challenge themselves to incorporate it for today. So it'll be catalyst. So it's a person or thing that causes change or action.
Good,
And I'll put it in the chat.
good.
Thank you.
Another round of applause.
Now we are finally ready for our prepared speeches. The timer. Who's the timer?
Oh, with-
John, do you want to do a be timer?
Yeah, I can go for it.
James.
He's doing the grammarian.
Okay, James will be our timer. This is going really smoothly.
It's your job, Toastmaster.
James is the timer.
Yes.
Yeah.
Finally, we are ready. James, do you want to share with us your
Hold up, a green part during the beginning of the time interval, most likely 5 minutes. Yellow in the middle, 6 minutes, and red 7.
okay? How long is your speech?
5 to 7.
5 to 7. That's a surprise. Our next speaker tonight is Steve Evans. Steve has been a member of Toastmasters since 2008 and was awarded Distinguished Toastmaster Award back when he was distinguished. Everybody clap. Those were the days. Tonight, Steve is going to do a deep dive into the Distinguished Club program and how Silicon Speech can take its place among the top clubs in the district in 2026. The title of the speech is A Deeper Dive. What else? Please welcome Steve Evans.
Thank you very much, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters. Simba online. Great to have everybody here tonight. A deeper dive. Yes, last week I talked about a lot of things, one being our club, the Distinguished Toastmaster Award. Also talked about the Distinguished Club Program. We're going to be doing a deeper dive into the Distinguished Club Program tonight, because it was requested by Karan, as a matter of fact. Silicon Speech, as I mentioned before, is a speaking club and not a course. And I think this is something, as I mentioned last week, that I have neglected as somebody who's dealt with a lot of the newer members to mention. Because it's a different role, right, Kenzie? Do you think being a member of a club rather than attending a public speaking course?
Yes.
For instance, Dale Carnegie used this example last week, a public speaking course and a very good public speaking course, $2,500. You go to 8 weeks. I've been to the course. It was years ago. It wasn't $2,500 then, but it's a great course. I would recommend it. But at the end of the 8 weeks, you're done. Toastmasters, on the other hand, is $72 for 6 months. And by the way, the dues are going up. And by the way, something we should talk about, Claire, is that if you sign up for your dues, if you sign up for the next term early, you can sign up for $60 as opposed for $72. You can save $12. We'll send an email out on that, okay? So anyway, $72 for 6 months, and that works out to something like 20 meetings over a 6-month period, depending upon how the holidays fall, which is a great deal. And I've always talked about how it's the best buy in self-improvement, yada, yada, yada. And I've always talked about this as if it was a public speaking course, which it is. There's pathways, that's the course part, but it is a club and we have additional responsibilities. With that in mind, I have rewritten the guest email. And I think everybody, with maybe the exception of Shar and Karan, who were here when I first came or close to it, have received the guest email from me. And I would say something about, it's the best entertainment or best buy in self-improvement and all that business. But I'm going to rewrite part of that with all of this in mind. And I want everybody to give me a little feedback here. How would you react if you received an email, a guest email with this paragraph? I'm talking about the $72 and all that. Then I say, however, since this is a club, you'll be asked to contribute in other ways as well. As you become more confident and effective as a speaker, you'll be encouraged to help other members do the same. This means things like becoming a mentor, volunteering for various meeting roles, or serving as a club officer. Now, would you look at that and go, yeah, I don't want to be a member of a club. I think I'd just rather take a course. I think I'll go to Dale Carnegie. Or would you think, yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And then you learn whatever you want to learn and then take off, which people have done, because they get whatever they want to out of the program and they leave after they've done their wedding speech or whatever. So that wasn't directed at you, James. It was another person I was referring to. Serious, but anyway, or you would stick around and go, yeah, I like the community aspect of this. I like the fact it's an opportunity to serve. I like the fact that I am, as I get better at being a public speaker, I'm able to even learn more because there's no way to learn something and like trying to teach it to somebody else. These are all the things. So anyway, we're going to try that. And I want because it kind of sets the stage early on about what this is all about. Okay. So that's going to go into the guest email as we go forward. So here are our goals for the next year. First of all, become a President's Distinguished Club. And that's the deeper dive I'm going to get into. Also reemphasize the Pathways program, which I'm going to do next week if possible. And then establish a mentorship program, conduct a speech contest, which is going to be a project for 2027. And then a new one called Train the Next Leadership Team, which I've just added, but it makes perfect sense. Because I don't think when you sign up or you're volunteered to be, assume one of these roles that are officer roles, that it's a life sentence. If you're vice president of education, you're going to be that for the rest of your days. No, you should be.
That's you.
It seems like it sometimes, but it should be part of the program, should be to train the next group and hopefully have them assume during the next term. And you can hang on if you want, but you can also take on another role, see what that feels like. but at least it keeps the club moving forward. All right, here's the DC program. Yes, this is something you cannot read. Don't even try. But I'm going to send this out to everybody and have you take a look at it in your spare time. This lists all of the goals, and here they are. The first 6 are all of our education goals. And as you can see here, the first goal is for 4 people to complete level 1. Number 2 goal is for 2 people to complete level 2. Number 3 is the same, 2 more people, level 2. Don't ask me why they split it out. Number 4, we need 2 people to achieve and complete level 3. We need 1 person to complete level 4, or do a complete path completion, or get the DTM award. And then number 6 is the same. Number 7 and 8, membership. Add 4 new members for 7, add 4 more for 8. And then you do the training goal is pretty simple. Train the officers for the first part, and train the officers for the second term. And then you have an administration goal, and which is to get the membership dues in on time and submit the officer list. Those are all 10. How many do you think we accomplished last time? Any idea? Well, let's take a look. We put on 4 new members, and we got the lists in on time. That was it. You asked last time, well, how we stack up. Well, again, well, for one thing, the district is pretty big. I mean, there are 6 different divisions, there's 6 different divisions, and we are in Division A, Area A1. We're right there. I won't go into detail. I'm going to send this out to everybody later, but I stopped. We were before you. We were last in that particular category.
Which category? A1.
A1. We're right here.
Yeah, we were.
We achieved our 2. To give you an idea, the club that led PWT, Professional Women's Toastmasters, they achieved 9. They were President's Distinguished. Here is another thing I'm going to be sending out to you, which is another way to take a look at this, which gives you an idea of what goals need to be achieved and what we did last time. And then this is the Club Success Program, which we are going to be completing, which is going to be the plan to be able to bring us to the President's Distinguished level. And there are 6 different categories, such as membership and education and training and so on and so forth. This is something that the club leadership will do, which will chart the course for our next year. And this to give you an idea of what the leadership looks like, or the education portion looks like right here. This is a list of everybody that is currently signed up for Pathways, which I'll go into in detail next week, and where they are. And looks like we've got a little work to do here. So here are our goals once again: become President's Distinguished, reemphasize the Pathways program, to emphasize a mentorship program, conduct a speech contest, and train the next leadership team. So here is the group from 1924 that put all of this together. The reason that this whole organization is here 102 years later. So as we take a look at our group, we're not looking at the next 100 years. We're just looking at next year. Will this group be President's Distinguished? The fate of the club is in our hands. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you. Let's have a quick evaluation.
Let's make my timing 8 to 10.
Perfect.
Qualified.
Right in the middle, well done.
Our distinguished speaker here. Let's start with Claire.
Steve, thanks for this speech. It was cool to get more of understanding the inside baseball of Toastmasters. I definitely didn't know about a lot of these things, like the level 1, level 2, level 3, or the President's Distinguished. So it was cool to understand better. I think you were really clear in explaining things and setting out the 4 goals, then restating them so we could remember what was important. And so clearly, with good pacing, don't really want to.
Thank you.
Yes.
I think this is awesome that we're talking about it, that there's more knowledge brought to the group on a group level, what we can do and improve. I will say your cadence seems very maybe relaxed or not enthused about this topic, which made me wonder, how can we make people excited to do these things? Not really sure as far as. I like that you laid things out for us. It was pretty straightforward. I guess what I'm missing is the song and dance and the little bit of the music and the jazz and the entertainment in it all, but I'm wondering too what other people thought, you know, that are new to Toastmasters. Does this seem like very overwhelming to think about, or is it exciting? And then also, I really did like what you did with the club, introducing people to the club and that paragraph. I think it's really important for people to know when they're signing up, what they're signing up for, and just being more clear with that, so.
Well, let's ask our new people. Ali, you want to share your feedback?
Yeah, so I thought it was very good. I think the visual aid helps because otherwise I feel like that would be very difficult to follow. And it was helpful to me because I don't know a lot about this club yet and not quite sure what I've signed up for in terms of like the details, the nitty-gritty, all of these training programs and stuff. So I found it super helpful. Yeah, I thought it was good.
Good, thank you.
John?
Yeah, this speech was focused on educating us about a certain area, and I think Stevie did a great job on explaining that. And it's more about us, not about the topic itself. You related a lot of things, made us think about certain different questions and how we can impact this organization to move on to the next level. Overall, great structure, great storytelling. I think the one feedback that I would provide to you is I think the guest email that you mentioned at the beginning before the agenda, I think you could have put that in the middle of the content rather than at the very beginning. But overall, really enjoyed it.
Nina?
Yes, I thought it was a great speech. There was definitely the interaction with the digital display, which was very helpful. I'm a visual learner, so I'm a little bit biased on that. But as far as the overall speech, I do agree with Kenzie in the fact that, you know, there could be a little bit more excitement for it, or whatever like the bells and whistles and all that are as well. But overall, it was a very good speech and informative with visual displays, which I very much enjoyed.
Good, thank you.
Sure.
It reminded me of one time when Leanne came here, it was like before you started. And she said to the whole club, she said, your main job is to bring new members. And I remember thinking, no, our main job is to become better speakers. And I felt that this whole thing and the program and everything is, it's not, what is the benefit to me to become, to even belong to a distinguished club? What do I care? Doesn't help me when I get a job out there to give a speech. So I think you need to, I mean, as far as the speech goes, you're a great speaker, we don't have to, you know, but as far as the program and the way of presenting it and sending emails out to people, it has to be what's a benefit to the person who wants to be a better speaker.
True. What if I were to begin the program? I'd like just take a second. What if I said at the beginning, you really start to learn about something when you try to teach it to others? And would that be a better way, to Kenzie's point of getting into this? Because you can't just say it, because that's the difference between a club and a course. The club, in order for the club to survive, needs people to participate.
Well, then, just that point is great. But,
you know, I mean, yeah, to your point also, you know, who cares if the club survives if all you want to do is be a better public speaker?
well, that's what people come.
Oh, I know.
Become a better speaker.
Well, I will take up.
I will.
We can talk about this, but yeah.
James, you want to
Yeah, similar to others, like very strong coaching presentation, great general as always. I would agree. I don't disagree about your reasons at all, Steve. That you just mentioned. I would just go a bit more into the why. And
Yeah.
why being a distinguished club is so important and why it's a goal that's worth us all striving for. And then just on the, I mean, you talked a lot about the economics of Dale Carnegie versus Toastmasters, which I think is a good point, but I think the community and the continuity, I think that aspect will appeal much more to people than just the basic economic argument you had. But overall, really helpful information and thought you had a great ending in particular, which really brought it all home for us.
Good, thank you.
I have a few different comments. Number one, it seems to me that pathways is like at the core or the first things. Like Kenzie said, sell it. Why pathways? So from what I understand on pathways is, okay, you're giving speeches anyway, but pathways is a speech with intent. Figure out why you're giving the speech and practice that. That the club is designed for you to practice different forms of public speaking, and pathways will help you do that. Number two, I think you have to pay something for pathways, right?
No, it's free.
It's free. Okay.
Yes.
So you need to tell people why pathways and how it helps them. The other thing that I would say is that yes, we are a club and there are different roles that you have to participate, but that's really not the point. The point is that every role in this club is a speaking opportunity. It's not just about you coming and speaking. When you're evaluating, when you're telling a joke, you're practicing public speaking. So all of that.
Mhm.
And then at the end, I would say, yes, why distinguished? Obviously, I feel like if you're a kind of a community where everyone is enjoying and knowing and participating, then automatically it's going to attract different people and we can think about different ways. But yeah,
Good.
more selling the program than this is what you have to do.
Good. Just went a little long, but thanks. Great to be back. Good stuff.
Well, we are a club here, Steve.
At least I got that point across.
Our next speaker has forgotten what she wants to talk about. Just kidding. She actually remembers it quite well. Tonight, she'll be explaining to you how to optimize memory tricks so that you can give better speeches.
Great.
Please help me welcome Claire.
Thank you, Karan. I hope that tonight will serve as a catalyst for us getting more involved at our Toastmasters Club and giving better speeches. So I want to start with a question for you guys. Same one Chris asked last week. What is preventing you from giving more speeches? When someone asks you to give a speech and you don't want to do it, what's holding you back? Part of it might be fear of just standing up in front of a crowd, fear that they might judge you. Part of it might be not knowing what to talk about, like Chris discussed in his speech last week. Or maybe knowing what to talk about, but not knowing how you want to say it. Another thing that might be holding you back is fear of not being able to memorize the speech. Knowing that you have something to say and you can maybe write a good speech, but what if you forget it? One of my recurring nightmares is being on stage, doing a musical, and not knowing my lines. Last minute, they're pushing me onto the stage saying, hey, you're one of the main parts and you should have memorized your 100 lines, and I don't know. I have not done musical theater since I was about 14 years old, but this is a recurring bad dream of mine. I'm sure a lot of you have some concern like this. And I'm sure you've all had a moment where you're up here and you don't know what you're going to say next. But tonight I want to teach you a few simple memory tricks that might help you overcome this fear and hopefully give more speeches. My whole life, I've been obsessed with memory.
I've always been fascinated by how memory works from a psychological standpoint and also how we can improve it. I read this book when I was younger called Moonwalking with Einstein. That's about professional memory competitions where people will memorize a whole deck of cards. They'll shuffle the deck and look through all 52 cards, and then after that, they can tell you which card was which in order. I am not at that level, but I do like to play around with memory a little bit. I was kind of a nerdy kid, so I would do things in my spare time, like learn the capital of every single country, and I'd learn it all in one afternoon because I was bored. Or I would learn the first 100 digits of pi, which I can still do maybe half of, or learn the alphabet backwards, which I can definitely still do. And if we have time at the end of the speech, I can do a little demo for you guys. But on a more practical note, it's nice to be able to memorize things so that you can give a coherent speech without stopping and looking around. And that's where the ums and the uhs and the filler words come in, right? So here's one trick I use called the mnemonic list, or I've coined the term mnemonic list. So the way that this works is you're going to have 10 items. For each number 1 through 10, you're going to have something you associate that number with, something that's easy to visualize and that rhymes with the number. So here's an example. For me, 1 is gun. And if I'm memorizing a list of things, I imagine the first thing on that list coming out of a gun. Then 2 is shoe. So I imagine the second item on the list in a shoe. 3 is tree. I imagine that thing in a tree. 4 is door. You get the idea. I won't go on. If you really want my list, I'll give it to you after the meeting. But you can come up with your own. It can really be anything. The point is that it's easy for you to remember, and you're just going to always have this list of 10 things memorized. I did a demo for Kenzie last week, which was kind of fun. So how can you use this for speeches? What I would recommend, I use this a lot as just a way to remember my to-do list or things I need to buy at the grocery store. I'll just go through and quickly visualize all those things, and then I'll be able to recall it hours later. But for a speech, what I would recommend is that you distill all your points into 8 to 12 bullet points, so that if you lose your train of thought or forget about what you want to talk about next, you can just think about the next number in that sequence and you have it. Obviously, not every speech is going to neatly distill to exactly 10 bullet points, but you could always do more or less, just depending. You can come up with mnemonic devices for 11, 12, 13. I'm not going to stop you, not the police. Another little tip I have for speech memorization that I've been doing lately, I don't always do this, but when I have time, it's a nice way to do it, is I'll record myself doing the speech on my phone. Then I will listen back to that recording like it's a podcast. This is not as effective as actually practicing it multiple times. I think if you're actually able to practice, great. Sometimes I don't have time. Today I've practiced the speech 1 time, but I did do a recording and then I listened to it 2 more times, right? So that's helpful just so you can get used to the cadence of the speech, what you want to say. Another pro tip is that I don't recommend you memorize your speech verbatim. I think this is sometimes a mistake that newer Toastmasters can fall into, where they write a really good speech, they use all the right words and beautiful phrasing written by maybe them, maybe ChatGPT, whatever. They have a beautiful sentence and they want to have it perfectly memorized. But then they get a little too bogged down with it, or they put it on flashcards and then they get really stuck into the flashcards and we kind of lose them, right? So I think it's important to not try to have it all perfectly memorized. But the beauty of the recording is that you could, if you have a particular sentence you really like or something like that, you can listen to this and just get used to the rhythm of the sentence so that you're able to recall it more easily. So those are my main tips, just to go over. Oh, am I over time?
No, you're good.
Okay. Just to go over, there's that mnemonic list. So develop about 10 items associated with the numbers 1 through 10 or beyond if you want to. Second, record yourself and listen back like a podcast. Even better if you can take a video recording and watch it back. But the audio recording is nice if you're in the car or something. And third, don't get too bogged down with getting everything verbatim. And now, since we have a little bit of time, I will recite the alphabet backwards because I know you've all been waiting for that. ZYXWVUT SRQPONM LKJ IHG FED CBH. Wait, CBA. Thank you.
Great.
That's it.
Lovely. All right, let's start this time with James. James, what do you think?
Well, very good reaction to my time and plunder. Thank you for your train of thought. Yeah, great command of the room. Great gestures as always. In terms of constructive feedback, so just because I just noticed it because I was timing, it took you almost like 3 minutes to get to the heart of what you were talking about, which is tips for more effective speaking. So I would have thought about structure in ways you could maybe tighten up the intro a little bit to make sure you have most of the time speaking about different ways that we can all improve our memory. Super applicable, obviously, something that we all think about what's the most efficient way to memorize. And something I heard on a podcast, which is interesting, is it's exponentially more efficient to practice because you develop certain patterns in your mind about having to recall on the spot versus listening or reading the speech over and over again. And then one other piece that is a little bit neat would have started with the alphabet backwards. It's like an intro that could be an interesting way to structure it next time, but overall.
I started forwards.
Oh, yeah, there we go.
I memorized the alphabet
Yeah.
forwards.
Just something to think about in terms
Yeah.
of structure, but overall really enjoyed it. Thought it was incredibly helpful this group.
Sean?
Yeah, I'm so happy that you gave the speech because I've always wondered, how does she never use notes? Now I know. It was really good, really interesting, really helpful. I loved it, that she did it backwards at the end. I liked that. I thought that was a nice bookend. That was great.
Sure.
Let's go online. Start with John.
Claire, if you ever got pulled over by the police would have to use some sort of different test instead of telling you to recite the alphabet backwards. But overall, when I first joined this club, I knew from the start that you always just been a phenomenal speaker. I feel like everything that you talk about comes with strong emotion. It's very easy to follow. And you're just kind of that natural born communicator. Overall, I love the idea and the topic of memorization. I think it's a huge aspect that's relevant to what we do in this club today. I think one area that I would emphasize in is you talked about your three key techniques and you recited it at the end, but you didn't emphasize the techniques at the beginning. So I think if you say like, I have three techniques that I'm going to be talking about, it's X, Y, and Z, then you can kind of go through with that in that list. I think you kind of just went in straight into the context of the speech.
Nina?
Yeah, just a caveat on what everybody else said, unfortunately, because the structure of it overall could have had a little bit better of a layout as far as the information and the memorization tactics. That's really great information, and I would like to know a little bit more about the strategy and how you can implement them. But overall, really great information. Thank you.
Ali?
Hi. Yeah, I really enjoyed it. I like that you tied in personal narratives into this kind of I can't speak right now, instructive speech. And I learned that we have something in common, which is that I too have an obsession with memory, and I've done the alphabet backwards and memorized capitals in Europe. So I could totally relate to you on that. But yeah, I thought you did a great job with pauses and with your cadence so that we didn't get kind of bored listening to this information. Like you really timed it out well, and it was really good.
I didn't catch on to your memory until I think the first time you were Toastmaster and you remembered all the intros. And I think I might have given you like a really long intro like I usually do. And I'm like, how is she doing this? And then you kind of later. But it was really good. I
Only thing I would want, maybe if you were to do the speech again, is to have like a longer time slot and then maybe do some more crowd engagement. Like maybe like put it to the text. I don't know, like use someone in the audience. That'd be kind of fun to see, like, can it take all the people? Right, you know, but other than that, really good.
Steve?
Yeah, I love this. I thought it was a terrific speech. It was news we can use, and I really like the open. I like the fact that you opened with specific examples of why people don't do more speeches, and you went through those fairly quickly. And then, but if it comes to memorization, here's what you can do. And I think everybody has a fear of going blank, and this is a great way to. This is a solution to that problem. I think the only thing you might want to experiment with would be to actually do a speech, or maybe the first part of a speech, just to show how you would be able to create the bullet points and then do the memory tricks to be able to remember those when you're giving the speech. Like the close, I thought that that really worked, and great use of humor as well.
I agree with everyone that you're a great speaker. I'm gonna make a few points here. First, what just Steve said reminded me, I think this speech should be all about memory. I would not open why people don't come up on memory. I think those are two different topics. From the memory standpoint, fascinating. What I would have liked to see was examples. You said something that comes out of a gun. Give us an example so that we can understand what that is, or how you use this in this speech. You mentioned you listened to your speech and the rhythm. Did you use the numerical to remember that? And if so, what did you use? That would have given us a lot more something to grab onto, right? All right. Excellent. Next, it's time for table topics, and John is going to lead us. John, the floor is yours.
Thank you. So, table topics, if you're new here, is just a short speech to be able to practice impromptu speeches when you get called out in work, building new relationships, or answering questions that you're not prepared to answer. This is your ability to practice using less filler words, telling the story, and just overall building that structure within your presentation or speech. So, for my first question is Claire talked about her nightmare and said that it was related to her with public speaking. What is a dream or nightmare that you had recently, but what is the overall meaning within that dream or nightmare that you had? Allison?
Hi. I'm trying to rack my brain for recent dreams and nightmares. I can say that a recurring dream that I have all the time is similar to that of Claire's. It's that I walk into a classroom and they say, great, this is the final. Sit down here. Here's your test booklet. You should have studied very hard. And I'm thinking, I have never been in this classroom before. So that is a recurring dream. I think it comes from my extreme type A personality and always feeling like I need to be on top of everything. That's something that I really need to improve on. So I continue to get that dream. I've had that dream since I was 10, and I probably will continue to do so until I learn to calm down and be less neurotic. Thank you.
At the beginning, Karan kicked us off with a joke talking about Buddhism. When you talk about religion, there's a lot of faith that interacts within that certain topic. But I wanted to see what's your opinion and what do you rely on more, faith or luck? James.
Thank you for that question, John. I think I have neither a lot of faith nor luck. So I'm gonna go with your first question on my latest dream I had. And I recently went to the Colombian Amazon, and so of all the risks there that could happen, no English really, a lot of different diseases that you can get there that you can't get in the States. A lot of things that could go wrong. I, as you might expect, do not look like the average person in the Amazon. But my recurring nightmare was that I would get malaria for some reason. And so I luckily had malaria tablets. I made sure I got them months in advance. I think maybe the dream was telling me to, as a reminder, to schedule the appointment with my doctor to get the malaria tablets. So I got the malaria tablets. I ended up getting absolutely destroyed. If you look at the side of my hand here, those are all mosquito bites from the Amazon. I had everything I thought I'd need. I had gloves, I had every inch of my body covered, but it did not matter. They would go through any gloves, they would go through all synthetic clothing I had with me. And so luckily I had my malaria tablets. I'm still taking them, but my nightmare will not become a reality because I have the tablets. So all's well that ends well, and nightmare not coming reality. Thank you.
That nightmare was probably giving you a warning, James, and I'm glad you took advantage of it. There's this new movie that recently came out. I highly recommend it. And I had a conversation with an individual earlier about her thoughts on it. So without any spoilers, Kenzie, how would you recommend the movie Odyssey to someone? I don't know if we had technical difficulties, but I can't hear anything.
Yeah, same.
Me too. I couldn't hear anything.
Oh, because Steve is not online.
Oh, I know. They can hear us now, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, I do.
They're talking amongst themselves.
Here, I'll just call off mute. I'll just go off.
Yeah, because you're the host. Somehow we can, I don't know why we can all still.
Can you guys hear us now?
Yeah, I can hear from your screen, James.
Perfect.
Did you hear anything?
No, unfortunately, we didn't hear anything. I was so excited to hear it because I've been wanting to
I know
hear
I
someone's
didn't hear
opinion from
anything
the
either. I was
movie.
like, oh man.
Okay,
Uh,
you know,
I'm reading.
Awesome. Well, hopefully, Kenzie, I hope you enjoyed that film. Again, I highly recommend it. Great storytelling, and it kind of brings a full circle moment on providing that structure.
Didn't she use
If
the word
you,
of the day twice? I know you missed that.
oh, perfect. Thank you for that call out.
Okay, there you go.
are you Catholic? Are you
connected?
Is it Amber?
So it's not here.
Connected, you have a. What do you say? I guess we don't, I just.
Should we go? Should we go with another one, John?
Yeah. So a couple weeks ago, James gave a speech on giving a toast to a close friend of his. If you had the opportunity to give a speech or a toast to someone you care about the most, what would you tell them right now? And I'll give that to Karan.
Did you hear that, Karan?
Or-
Coffee?
Is that question is for me?
Yes.
That question for you, yes. You want me to repeat it?
Yeah.
If you had the opportunity to give a speech or a toast to a close friend of yours, a loved one, or a family member, what would you tell that person right now?
gave the eulogy for my mom. And I wish I had taken Toastmasters before that because I did not do a good job. If I was going to have the opportunity to do it again, I would just tell her not just how much I loved her and everybody in her life loved her, but how much I appreciated everything that she did for us. I always had, maybe because of my upbringing, somehow I felt like if I was saying she was the greatest mother ever, I would be doing a disservice to every other mother that was there. And I would just be genuine and remember her for who she really was. She was a great mother. She protected us. She gave us, I was born in Iran. She made sure that we had a connection to our German family, but I was, I think, 11 months old the first time she took me there. I spent a lot of my summers there. But overall, she was such an easy woman to be with. She would come and visit me. I remember one time in Boston, she came in Newbury Street. She sat and she would sit and read the whole day, and I was gone for the whole day. And then I came back. She was German, so she had ordered 1 cup of coffee the whole freaking day. I'm like, Mom, this is America. You can't. But she didn't care. That's who she was. I wish I had the opportunity to give another eulogy, but it doesn't matter because she is in my heart and everybody else's heart, and that's all that matters. Okay.
Beautiful speech, Karan. Thank you for being open about that. Do we still have time for more?
No, I think we are at our allotted time.
Great job, by Joe.
Well done, John. Good job, John.
Let's go through the reports. Our counter.
Okay, wait, yeah, I'm not muted. Okay, Steve, you had 2 ums. Claire, I didn't find any. John, you had 1 I had a massive James, I didn't hear any. Kenzie, I could not hear you at all. I'm sure you did amazing. And Karan, you had a 1
Okay. The timer report. Thanks.
Steve might have gone a little bit over, but we reclassified his speech at the end. So he was just in the middle. Well done, Steve. Well timed. And everybody else qualified.
Our movement master.
Yes, everybody actually, it was kind of funny, all did very similar movement. Everybody had a tendency to move their hands and either waddle to the left and right and maybe move a little bit forward, but nobody actually used the whole stage and walked left to right, which I found interesting. And that was like for everybody for the most part. I think the only person that had like a little bit of extra points would be Steve because he was using the visual display and walking towards the screen and with the remote. And so he had a little bit more movement than everybody else. But overall, everybody kind of did the same left and right footwork and then used a lot of hands.
Reports.
So no one used the word of the day except for Claire. Claire used it once, and Kenzie, who I did not hear, mentioned that she used it twice.
Very good. What about next week, Steve says? Who's speaking?
Steve again.
Yes, nobody else.
I can speak.
What is preventing all of you from speaking?
have all.
We now know how to memorize. speech.
Memory.
I can do grammarian on counter.
Table topics.
I'll do it. No.
Sean McBee, she's like stepping in to the club role.
Who is Toastmaster?
Who is Toastmaster?
Yeah,
James.
happy to. Yep.
Yeah.
You?
Yeah,
Good.
that's it. It's time to look good on camera.
I can do movement.
All right. Bye, everybody.
Wait, are we taking a picture or no picture?
Picture, Steve. Wait.
Do that. Somebody else, can you take a picture?
We don't have a camera?
I
I'll also take a picture.
What a reason. So here, we'll go be good.
Something went wrong with his.
We're taking a picture still. We're figuring it out.
Okay, ready, set, go. Wait, what do you mean wait? I'm doing it.
Did you do it?
Yeah,
And it worked?
Yeah.
How did you
All right.
do it?
amazing.
Good.
So amazing.
Okay. All right, Kenzie's got the photo.
So.
Okay, we got it.
We got the photo. All right.
All right, cool.
Bye, everybody.
Hi, guys.
Bye. Say bye.
Wait, who's doing the?